At the top of the comment section here, I have a few different links, which if you click on those links, it will redirect you to many different bylaws that have been enacted across the country and some around the world, which will state what the mask bylaws are and the rights that you have what pertaining to those bylaws, because it is very important that all of you know that you have rights when it comes to this. Even if it's crumbs, we need to know what rights we have, and we need to cling on to them, and we need to be vicious about it, because the mainstream media is not going to do this. You will not find this information on the mainstream media. The only way you could find this information is through me or by going directly to the main source, which is these actual legislations, which are pretty difficult to find actually. Google is trying to hide them. I try not to use Google anymore. I use Yippee now, because Google, whether it's Google, whether it's the mainstream media, whether it's the politicians, they don't want you to know the rights that you have when it comes to these new mandatory mask laws that are popping up all over the place like weeds. Now, I am going to do that because this is very important. And we need to make sure that we know this, and we need to fight for it. Now, I will talk about Toronto first, because that is close to where I am. I'm actually in the Durham region, and these bylaws actually have it too. And by the way, every single one of the places that I looked, the places that have mandatory mask laws, they have the same exemptions. So I'm starting to think that all these places have it, but don't quote me on that. I want you guys to also reach out to me. If you're living in an area that has a mandatory mask law and I haven't talked about it, reach out to me so that I can research to see if there are exemptions for you, or you can do it on your own. It'll be tough to find though, because Google is trying to censor it and the mainstream media is not going to tell you about those rights, but you can do that if you wish, or you can reach out to me and I will research it for you. But Toronto came out with a mandatory mask law. Same thing with the Niagara region, the Durham region, and the city of Mississauga, and many different places as well. And all the thing that stuck out to me when I researched them all is that they all have exemptions. And all of the exemptions state this. Exemptions include children under the age of 2, persons with underlying medical conditions, and persons who are unable to remove a face covering without assistance. And in Mississauga, which is in the Peel region west of Toronto, where Kevin J. Johnston lives, our favorite revolutionary from Peel region, it states, the bylaw does not apply to employees and staff members working within public establishments while they are behind a physical barrier like plexiglass, or within an area of the building that is restricted to staff and not available to the public. So that is a right that you have in Mississauga. And by the way, in Toronto, the exemption further states that while there are exemptions for people with underlying medical conditions and who can't take the mask off without assistance and all this other stuff, I read something that was very, very interesting to me. It states here clearly that in Toronto, Section 2A.5, persons who are reasonably accommodated by not wearing a mask or face covering in accordance with the Ontario Human Rights Code. The Ontario Human Rights Code contains a list of grounds including creed, which means a set of deeply held beliefs. So creed, it could mean anything. It could mean whether you are of a certain tribe, or if you're of a certain belief system, anything. If you say that, hey, I believe in personal freedom, I believe that, I'm against masks, I think that they are oppressive, that's a creed. You belong to Hugs Over Masks, one of a group that I'm a part of. a group which I love. I mean, I love to death. They are revolutionaries in my view. And we are going to win, by the way. Make no mistake about it. We are going to win, and we're not joking, and we're not scared. We're not scared of you Karens out there who are a bunch of sheep, who are going to try and harass us into wearing masks. We're not afraid of the politicians. We're not afraid of the media. We're not afraid of anybody. We're going to win. But they're a creed. And so they can walk up and say, no, I'm exempt because I don't believe in this. You are protected in Toronto. It clearly states the people who are reasonably accommodated by the Ontario Human Rights Code. And the Ontario Human Rights Code contains a list of grounds, including creed. It also lists religion and all this sort of stuff. So if you have a part of a religion which states that, you can't, that's against your religion, you are protected. And by the way, it is against the law for you to be asked to prove what your exemption is or to prove what your medical condition is. I used to walk into stores and put a mask on and then take it off when I'm in the store. I used to do that. But I'm not even going to do that anymore. You can walk up to the guard who's at the store. He says, put the mask on. I say, I'm exempt. I have a medical condition. And if he tries to ask you what that medical condition is, he's breaking the rules. He is breaking the rules. He can get into trouble. He can be fined. He's the one that's going to get it. And I want you all to record these interactions. And don't be scared or manipulated by people. You know what's funny? The sheep out there, the sheep, the conformists, they're now trying to take the word Karen away from us. We created that word, Revolutionaries, freedom fighters, we created that word to put into place women of the middle-aged stature who would harass people in public, looking for fights with people, looking for fights with the working man. If their coffee wasn't made right, some suburban woman with some dog in her lap gonna harass some boy at some fast food restaurant because their coffee wasn't hot enough. And we created that word Karen to put her in her place. Put her in her place, to shut her. Damn you, Karen, some blonde-headed Karen coming up into this. We created it. Now they're trying to say Karen means somebody who doesn't want to wear a mask. That's not what a Karen is. A Karen is not somebody who wants to keep and protect their freedom. I just want you to know that. And I'm going to make a separate video explaining that. A Karen is somebody who wants to fight with people. Is somebody who's on the offensive, is somebody who's on the prowl, looking for fights. A Karen isn't somebody standing up for herself, not wanting to bother anybody, but wants to live free. A woman who wants to live free and do her thing and go out in public without being harassed. In fact, the people who are harassing women with their children at the park, women who are going into stores without wanting to wear a mask, not even asking if they have to or if they can or not. Women like that who are being called out and who are being abused, the abusers, they are the Karens. And they're sheep as well. They are the Karens. If you attack a woman with her child at parks because you have nothing better to do, you are a Karen. You are. You can't. That would be like if Osama bin Laden, and I'm not saying that, anyway, it may not be the best example because of my personal belief on 9/11, but I'll use it anyway. If Osama bin Laden blew up the World Trade Center and then the United States bombed his cave, and then he called America terrorists. That doesn't make any sense. You can't go to a woman with her children in the park who wants to live a life of freedom and pull out a phone and push it into her face and harass that woman in front of her children because she's not wearing a mask because you think she should wear one. And then call her a Karen when she tells you to piss off. You are invading her freedom. You are invading her personal space. You are the one looking for a fight with her. You are the one who has nothing better to do but fight with a woman with children. You are the Karen. You try doing that with me. You try doing that with me and see what'll happen to you. You don't have the nerve. Nobody's ever done that yet. I can say nobody's ever done that yet. And the reason why I can prove nobody has done that is because I'd be behind bars if someone tried to do that to me. Because I don't put up with Karens. So I want you to know that pretty much this whole mask thing is all a joke. You don't have to, if you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to. You want to go to Walmart and get some bottle of milk or get your groceries and you don't want to wear a mask, you just tell them, no, I'm exempt. I can't wear it. You don't have to explain. I would say, hey, I have asthma. I have asthma. I can't do it. I can't do it. And they can't ask you to prove it. That's illegal. That's like going up to somebody in a wheelchair and saying, you are in a wheelchair, prove to me that you can't walk. You can't do that. You will have your ass thrown in jail if you do that. You have rights. You have rights, and I've looked at all of these laws. I've looked all over the country. I haven't found one of these mask laws yet which don't have exemptions. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any out there. I'm going to have to do a lot of searching, and I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm on a roll right now. I am hyped up. You know, the more these globalists and these the media and these politicians and the deep state keep pushing us into a corner and keep pushing us and spiting us. They have, you know, first they had us forced into quarantine. Now they're forcing us to wear masks, and now they're forcing us not to hang out with people, and now then soon they're gonna force us to take vaccines, which will be the last straw. But the more they push us is the more hyped up I get. I will sit in front of this computer all night if I have to. If it means I will look through all of the places that have mandatory mask laws and see if there's exemptions. I will do it. I will do it. And you need to stand your ground. Don't wear the mask if you don't want to. Don't let anybody bully you into doing it. They're going to call you all sorts of names. They'll call you selfish. They'll call you everything. The only people who are being selfish is them. They are forcing us to wear something that doesn't do anything to stop coronavirus. That's like building a fence to keep bugs out of your yard. It's useless. Useless. The only way a mask would be useful in protecting you is if it was literally taped to your mouth and you couldn't breathe. If you can smell something with a mask, it means it's not working. And if you can't smell, it means you'll pass out because you can't breathe. So you need to know your rights. You need to need to know what we are up against. And they will call you all sorts of names. They'll manipulate you. First, they'll try to say that you're being selfish. And all you have to say is, you are forcing me to wear a mask, which doesn't work, but you just want it so that you feel safe. Now you're going to ask me to take a vaccine, which I don't feel comfortable in taking, just to make you safe. These people who are calling us selfish, they are the ones who are selfish. They keep heaping demand after demand after demand on us. And we have not asked a single thing from these people. Then they're going to try and use, oh, well, you're a coward. They're going to try and do that thing on you. They're going to say, you're weak, you're a pussy. Oh, look at you, you can't wear a mask. You see all those doctors and those nurses, they wear masks. They're going to try and pull that one on you. All you have to say is, no, I'm actually strong. If I can stand up to the media and the politicians and you and your manipulation tactics, that makes me stronger than anything. Don't let these people manipulate you. Don't let them scare you. Be prepared. This thing is going to get rough, but you need to know your rights, and this is the Rana Nation.